This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018, episode 155. Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. InfectionPodcast.com is our website. Episode 155, and it's 2018. With the new year, lots of changes going on here, but he's still here, of course. There's no changes. Hey, Brian, How are you?
Hey, everybody. If you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, or go check out my blog, biteoftech.com. And, of course, as Nick said, our website, our YouTube channel, our Twitch, all different ways to find us on the internet. And if you go to our Twitch channel, you can follow us on there, and you'll get, I think you'll get notifications for that of when we're starting our live broadcast. Also, our Steam group, you can subscribe to that, get live notifications. If you're looking to get our past episodes and you want video formats of those, just go check out our YouTube channel.
It's the greatest.
On there. It has all of our different past episodes. If you don't want to go through that playlist and you just want to go onto our website, we have a post for every single one of those episodes. And on there, we have show notes as well, and an audio view of that. So you can go and just check out the audio only version and play it right on the website. So it's nice and easy, and it's different ways to get us. And of course, our podcast. And if you find we had somebody let us know, was it TuneIn?
Correct.
We'll have to check and see if that has changed. TuneIn was having an issue with
TuneIn on
the
iOS
software that we use. Yeah, and it was specific to iOS. And so they were having an issue with connecting, and we checked that out, got a feedback from the company, TuneIn, that it was their side most likely that was the problem. So we'll have to follow up and make sure that was corrected. But if you find that we aren't on your favorite podcast app.
Still doesn't work, by the way. I guess we really need to reach out to them again and just say, hey, fix your stuff.
And I mean, it could be something as simple as a certificate, like a SSL certificate or something that that our software uses. So Blueberry uses on their side somewhere in connecting that's not compatible with iOS. I mean, it could be something silly like that maybe we need to reach out to them as well.
Yeah. So, but we are aware of the issue on iOS. We've reached out. They've told us it's not our problem, but it's been more than
it's not me.
A couple
it's you.
weeks
or wait,
now.
It's not you. It's me.
It's not you. It's me. But I guess we will wait and we'll reach back out to them and just say, hey, we got to get this figured out. So and I want to thank that was Daniel X Bravo, who, by the way, I remember we mentioned a couple weeks ago that we thought we only had one Australian listener. Of course, our good friend Unicorn Joe. And Daniel, who was having issues listening to the show on TuneIn, let us know on Twitter that he is also from Australia. So Joe is not alone. We've got 2 Australian listeners. Well, there's hopefully more. Reach out to us.
Well, and Joe has one of his coworkers that listens.
Well, excellent. So 3
every once in a while. So yeah, so we got three people from the land down under.
I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, that's more listeners than most other podcasts have in the U.S. So, we're heading on the right way there.
We're ahead of the game.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Brian, how was your Christmas? Obviously, we did our Christmas show last week. We chatted about, God, I don't remember what we chatted about. We talked about DLCs and free-to-play versus
free-to-play versus DLCs versus having other things that you have to pay for after purchasing a full game for like $60. And so if you're interested in that, and that we recorded that like almost 2 weeks ago now. So, but we aired that on Christmas or our Christmas week. Was that the day after?
It was the day after Christmas. It was the 26th.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, man, I had kind of a sucky Christmas. not to be a Debbie Downer.
I know. I'm fully aware.
But yeah, my dog died Christmas night. So that was something that was kind of coming up. She had, I mean, to really like put it into perspective, she had wandered out into the yard while I was gone and like was halfway frozen when I got there because I got home and she wasn't in her heated bed, like her heated area that we have. And so I grabbed her, thawed her out. Like, you know, it was frustrating. That was like the day before or 2 days before. And so we just tried to make her as comfortable as possible. And she was just sleeping and, you know, you could tell it was coming. And then Of course, Christmas, no places are open to be able to take her and have her put down. So just had to wait for it to happen. It happened that night. I had a hole already dug, and yeah, kind of depressing. Not, as I said, not to be a Debbie Downer, but that kind of just, for Christmas for me, I just wasn't, I was like, I'm not going to be playing games, for the next couple days, guys. And just was kind of dealing with it all.
No, of course I'm sorry to hear that. Pets are the worst when they they pass. They bring great joy, and then the second that they're gone, it's like hell on earth.
Yeah. Well, you go through this phase where it's like, because I had my other dog die. It was like a year. I mean, it wasn't quite a year ago, but I don't remember if it was early last year or maybe the year before.
I think it was about a year ago though. Yeah.
Yeah, it was coming up. I think it's coming up on a year ago, and you kind of go through this feeling of, man, it's great to have them, but is it worth 14 years of having a dog?
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with this, like,
it's rough.
It's just because it's going to happen. I mean, when the second you get a puppy, you don't think of it at that time. You're like, oh, this is exciting. Got this little dog. But honestly, like 14 years from now, you're going to be saying goodbye to that thing. And that's, but you got to balance out, like, is that worth it for all the positive times that I have, up until then? So I don't know. I mean, it's frustrating. And we'll be going, and it makes you really think, because I was thinking, man, we're going to be going through the exact same thing with our pigs.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's part of life. You realize, death is part of life.
We got to transition away. We can't talk about that. I mean, we are going we are
much too deep.
This is the wrong podcast.
And like depressing of a topic to really.
Yes. Okay. Well, Brian, outside of that, how was your Christmas?
It was good. We spent time with my wife's family. We spent time with my family, and just kind of did the normal Christmas things. Like Laura and I, we didn't really go out. Like we celebrated most of Christmas just kind of at the house with each other. Played a lot of Rocket League.
Yeah, a lot of Christmas noobs playing Rocket League.
Yep,
that's the best.
And then went and had dinner and gifts and things with family. But other than that, I mean, not anything too crazy. I got a new tablet.
Nice.
Which works.
Brian the tech nerd.
Yeah. And I didn't really ask for anything, because I actually asked for roller hockey skates, because I got new ice skates, and I wanted to get some roller hockey skates to match. But with my surgery, I won't be able to play for 6 months. So I told her, I said, well, don't get me those skates, because you're going to get me this Christmas present that I won't be able to use till summer. So just don't worry about it. Like, buy them in 6 months, and then maybe the price will drop, or I'll get the new model.
The new model.
And so she didn't tell me. Yeah. It'll have speakers, Bluetooth,
RGB.
Flash.
Yeah, it'll be hot.
So she surprised me with this. I wasn't expecting anything. I was just like, just don't get me anything. Like, I'll be fine. She's like, you can't just not get you anything. I was like, give me something really small.
Yeah, when she says that to you, don't get her anything either. That'll go over great.
Well, okay, so that's the issue. She says, like, okay, don't spend very much. Like, we have because the thing is, you have a point where if you need something, you just go buy it, right?
I'm at that phase myself.
Yeah, so if you need something, like, other than like ice hockey skates, mine work fine, but I need, I want a new pair, wanted an upgrade. So that's a bigger thing where it's like, okay, I'll do that for Christmas. But most everything else, like if we really want it, we get it. And so there's no coming around Christmas. It's like, well, I don't really need anything. And so my wife was all, just don't get me a ton of stuff. Here's kind of some things that I want. And so I did what she said. And like, I spent half as much as she did because I actually listened to what she said.
Yeah, that was bad. I mean, I'm not married. I could have told you that was a bad idea.
Well, I still did more than what she said, but it still was not like, I wasn't expecting her to get me a nice new tablet.
Well, you're just the greatest husband ever, Brian, and you're the greatest co-host ever. Did you get my present?
No, I didn't.
That must have got lost in shipping.
Yeah, that's darn it.
We'll try it again next year.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll show up next year.
Damn Amazon. So hopefully everybody had a safe Christmas. As Saul says, Brian believing his wife. What a rookie. Hope everybody had a safe Christmas. Guess you guys played Overwatch for 2 weeks, or
no? So I wasn't there that one time because I think trying to remember what it was. I think we were celebrating my birthday, I think, with my wife's family that day. And then I think the next week we were celebrating Christmas or whatever. Like we had pushed it off because of other thing with my dog. We had moved it. And so I was out doing another thing that night. So I think last week people were playing ARK.
I think that is the case.
I don't think they were actually playing Overwatch, which is fine. Ours was really just a
holdover.
Yeah, just kind of go play Overwatch or whatever because you'll get skins. But we knew that it would be a really light, iffy turnout, and people are playing ARK Aberration, and that's fine. Like we didn't expect people to have to play Overwatch if they were really into something else.
Now I don't own Aberration, and I don't plan on owning it. Have you played it?
Yes.
Would you want to give your opinion now, or do you want to wait, do that later in the show?
Yeah, actually, we can do it now.
Okay. So what's going on with ARK Aberration? Oh, so for Aberration is the expansion that was supposed to be out.
Second DLC?
Yeah, it was supposed to be out in October. It got delayed a couple weeks. Came out in late November, like probably 5 weeks ago or something, 4 weeks ago, something like. Oh, I guess it'd be 5 weeks ago.
No, I thought it came out like mid-December.
Maybe it was mid-December. Maybe it's supposed to come out
December 12th or something like that.
Yeah, okay. So maybe it was supposed to come out in November. Nevertheless, it's their next big DLC. Their first one was I don't remember the name of the first one off the top of my head.
Scorched Earth.
Scorched Earth was their first one. That was when they were in early access. The hell froze over. I mean, it was just the worst thing
People
ever.
Freaked out.
Yeah, the Steam rating dropped. So they came out of early access to presumably release another DLC, which, by the way, their DLCs are literally full games. Yes. This isn't like a Call of Duty DLC pack or a Battlefield DLC pack where it's like 3 maps that you sometimes play on. It's literally an entire game. So I guess the outrage wasn't so bad this time, but you played it, Brian. Give us a little little inside the baseball. What's going on?
So Aberration, the map itself is so much different than any of the other ARK maps that there are. This one has a lot of, I think a 50% day, 50% night, and the days aren't like super bright because the part that we've been in is all underground. You kind of see a little bit of light coming out, and there's different layers to this map. So you have the surface world, which I haven't been to yet. There's this lower level that we're in right now, and it's so big. We've been in the top left corner of the map, and I've gone with our mount. It's not like we don't have mounts. I can go wherever, but I'm like, okay, well, let's go exploring, and then just start going. And I've still only been in the top quarter of the map. And the way that it's built, there's so many layers to it, and to where you just, I did a full circle, not even realizing it. That kind of gives you an idea of how intricate the maps are, is that there's just so many things around you.
Well, that's the key. And just to cut you off quickly, because I do want to tell people that maybe aren't familiar with ARK, the map itself isn't that big space-wise, but the map is so dense, and not in a bad way, but you'll go through a forest, and there is no such thing as open land. Like if you play H1Z1, for example, and I know H1Z1 and ARK are not even similar games, but you play H1Z1, you'll have an open field where you can literally see from one spot, and you can see as far as the eye can see to another. That really doesn't exist a whole lot in ARK unless you're really high up. Everything is very densely packed. There's underground, there's top level, or there's like underground, and there's like a middle level, and then there's sometimes some higher level stuff. And
so do you have access to links on the chat? Like,
yes, I can.
So there's a link, that's the starter area. I'm just going to give you a feel of the environment.
Give me a minute, I can pull that up.
Yeah, you're fine. And it's got, so that's just like the initial area that you see, but you can see it's a very big, and like that's kind of deceiving because you're up on one of those higher platforms, and those things are huge that you're looking at, the circle things that you walk through.
Can you post that again, please?
Yes. This is like the easiest starter area because they show you when you do the new areas, like here's the easy area, here's the medium, kind of goes through different layers. I'm looking for just kind of images because it's hard to describe, how it feels when you're in there because there's just so much stuff.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing with ARK. They really. I'm not trying to minimize what they have or haven't done. The game is amazing. Nobody's taking anything away from that. But
Yeah.
in terms of, they're just really good at utilizing space and being creative.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really not doing anything revolutionary per se. I think ARK's a fantastic game. But in terms of what they're doing, it's not like they've got some, 300 by 300 kilometer map, this, huge, vast wasteland. It's comparable size to probably a lot of other games. I remember seeing the images of some of the older maps. The size is quite comparable. It's just the way that they lay the map out makes it so much different, and in my case, different and better than so many other games. That just the way that they've got good designers, and that's what it comes down to: good creative minds that are developing the maps. What are we looking at here?
So that's just, I think that's towards after you pass through that initial area, you come to this where there's a lake. And this is just one little piece of the map. And so this has kind of been the area where we've been. Those trees, like those are mushroom. Those are actually trees. So that kind of gives you a distance measure. Size of a very large tree is those mushrooms. Mm-hmm. Those are on the shore. So it's really hard because the size, like when you're viewing from here, the sizes look really deceiving because then you walk up to it and you're just like a little piece next to that huge tree. This next one kind of shows, like, here's what I was talking about as far as layers. You can see, like, there's a whole area above you, like up on the surface.
Exactly.
And then there's these, like, and some of these you have to use these flying suits, and you can see roughly there's people there in flying suits, and you glide. It allows you to glide to certain platforms that are unavailable, like because there's no real flyers in this game. You can't get into a bird and just fly everywhere on the map, which I think is truly how ARK probably is meant to be played. Because I remember when we first started playing ARK, the second that we got birds, in your mind, the map gets so much smaller.
Exactly.
Before it seems so big, like you're just trying to work out of this one little area. The second you get a flyer, you're flying all around the map, and you know exactly how big the map is. Here, I think them keeping people from flying it forces people to truly appreciate this map because it's so big. There's so much detail. You have to actually walk through it. If you want to get to the lower right-hand corner, you have to, like, it's not easy because there's big ravines and, there's drop-offs that you have to figure out, how am I going to work my way around this? Maybe if you get the gliding suit, you can glide to the other side, but it makes you actually progress. Nobody can give you anything to really cheapen that experience, like we did with, we had it to where in ARK we were given a wolf.
That wolf, yeah, that screwed us.
And that really, like, made it to where we didn't work for those things, which was frustrating to me. This, even if you have something like a wolf, it's not like then, okay, that's going to allow me to tame this bird, because I'll have prime meats, and you still have to, even if you have that wolf, it's still hard enough to work your way. They have these things called ravagers, and they're like wolves, but they go in packs, and they will wreck you. So you'll get 3, 4, 5 of those maybe on you, even if you're on a high level wolf, or the equivalent of wolf, another ravager. There's a good chance they'll kill you, and they'll kill what you're on. And so they really did a good job of kind of making it to where you don't really feel that powerful, even though you have certain things, like you're always at risk in this map. So I really enjoy it. We actually have our own server running of this now. I put the Structures Plus mod on there today, which gives you better building materials. It fixes the whole electricity wiring thing.
Oh, excellent.
It just improves a lot of areas of the game. So we'll be trying that. If you want to join us, if you have Aberration and you're looking to kind of experience it in a non-toxic environment, like you'll get on the public servers, you can check it out. If you could join our Discord, I've been posting the links to that. And I actually have a link that always is up to date that you can click on if it ever doesn't let you connect. And I think it's on sale. I actually got it for Laura. Laura's been playing as well.
Oh, nice.
I think it's like $14 for the season pass. If I
And
remember correctly.
And I also believe. Oh, I should have bought that. Damn it. I believe right now the group is playing on someone else's private server. I think because they're playing, or maybe it's a public server. They're playing on another server.
They were, but I think they've switched. I mean, a lot of them have switched over to this one.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So, yeah. So is this Steam sale not going anymore?
I don't know. Is it?
I'll look for you really quick.
Looking at, I do not believe it is because the price is now $19. Oh, it is. Well, the season pass.
No,
Yeah.
I see it. I mean, it's showing $15.29 for me, so it's showing 66% off. But I don't know.
I don't have any of the other DLC though.
Yeah, but I think there's still some sort of a.
It is. It's $30 for the DLC. For the season pass.
Yeah, and I already have the season pass. So I don't know why it's even offering it to me.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But nevertheless, for somebody that enjoys ARK, I'm sure it's worth it. And I do enjoy ARK. I don't know if I enjoy $30 worth of ARK. At least right now, I just really don't have the time to play it. So that's I mean, that's more what it comes down to me. It will be on sale again. So I'm not overly concerned about it, but
and I think you'll find this one interesting because it is so much different than the other ones. I totally understand why they're charging for this, because it would be unreasonable for them to put out this amount of new content and put it under the regular title. Like they've had to have worked on this for a long, long time to be able to get this level of detail on the map. They have retextured and like redone every dino in there to have like bioluminescence and everything. And they have a whole bunch of new different dinosaurs. So it's drastically different. And so I think for them, like, and the same thing, they were secretly working on Scorched Earth.
Yeah.
Before Scorched Earth, nobody had a clue what was going on. And the same thing with this. Like before they announced it, there was very little information. I think someone had gotten the name a little bit because there was a file that had gotten out with the word aberration in it. And so there was a little bit, but most people weren't taking it seriously. So it'll be interesting to see what their next one is, because I don't know where they're going. I think it's going to be continuing the story. Aberration is where an ARK went bad, like an earthquake broke the ARK. And so this is the aberration of an ARK. And so it shows what what goes wrong when science kind of fiddles with it and something doesn't go right. So I'm curious where, maybe it'll be on the moon, because they have that moon one. Maybe, it'll be in space. Like, who knows where they're going after this. But Scorched Earth, Aberration, totally different from each other. And this one, Aberration, or Scorched Earth, was fairly different from the original ones. I mean, as far as the map. But this one's totally different than either one of those. So if you like ARK, I would recommend you get it.
And PH references that it's just a map. And that is absolutely correct. It is just a map. But the way that ARK,
they have a lot of new mechanics in it, though.
Well, and I think the way that ARK gets away with this is unlike other games where it's a new map unlike other games, it's a new map, but that's the game that you play. You are playing ARK Aberrations. You aren't playing ARK with a chance of playing Aberrations. You are playing Aberrations. It's like that's the game you're playing. And I think that's how they get away with it. It isn't like a game where the game it's not Overwatch where maps cycle through. You are literally just playing Aberrations 100% of the time. So if you look at it like that, the price really doesn't bother me so much.
I don't think they could have, with a mod and with a map expansion, they couldn't have gotten this level of change, I don't think, without it being totally, I don't know. Maybe they could, but there's enough to where they've really adjusted how the game feels. The whole lighting system is different for this, just because they wanted to get the underground lighting correct. So I don't know. Maybe they could have gotten this with enough DLCs and everything. But the fact that they've gone and created so many new assets and redone all the dinosaurs and then created so many new creatures, that's where it just wouldn't make sense as a DLC. People can put out whatever they want, but this is, I think, how companies like this should do it, rather than putting out a DLC that's what 5 hats.
Yeah.
Putting out something like this, and this is an actual DLC.
Yeah,
Ragnarok was not a DLC per se. It was a map. Because PH is asking, was Ragnarok was a DLC? That was not a paid DLC. It was a free map, but it used pretty much all existing assets with just a few added for like structures and things like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. If for somebody that already owns ARK, it's $28.63 for the season pass.
Okay.
So.
And then if you add Scorched Earth, it goes down even farther.
Yeah, it would go down even further, which I don't have, so it's not really a problem.
Yep.
So there you go.
Very good. And as I said, if you're looking to play, go ahead and join our Discord server if you're not already on there. And then under servers, I have a link, a direct connect link for Steam. And this is running on our new server that was crowdfunded here on the podcast. So right now we have a Ragnarok server running. We have the Aberration server running. And then we'll be getting a Minecraft server going here probably this week. I mean, I have it up and running, but we'll just get it configured now that Christmas is over.
Yep.
And we'll maybe bring up the forest again later, but I just don't see a lot of people because there's not enough server management tools for it to sit there and run by itself.
Yep.
Because we can't have it be public because people just grief it the whole time.
Internet people.
So I think it'll be one where we'll bring it up like a week at a time and kind of work through progress. That way people will do it together rather than one person sitting there and just doing the forest, because you can do that local and have the exact same experience.
Yeah, it's really no different whatsoever. Well, alrighty. Thanks again. Of course, now that our server's up running there. Again, thanks to everybody that made that server fund possible. We appreciate it. And now, when these new things come out, we now have the ability to actually put these online in a long-term, stable situation where it's not stressing Brian out and using the resources that he pays for. So thanks everybody for that. And I'm tempted. $28 is a lot. I don't think I'm going to be doing that, but maybe next time.
Yep.
Maybe next time.
It'll go on sale again.
It'll absolutely be on sale again.
I'm sure they'll do something for Valentine's Day or who knows.
No, they're not. They're not a company that does all that stuff.
Yeah, but they run they run it as a holiday, Valentine's Day, so you never know what they might do.
It's true. I do want to mention I was talking about this earlier with PH in Discord. If you're missing Discord, or excuse me, if you're not in Discord, you're missing out on a great conversations with stuff that we talk about. And this is referencing H1Z1. I don't know if you saw this chat this morning. Him and I were having, Brian. But Steam came out with their top sellers of 2017, and the comment was that H1Z1 is right next to PUBG. Make your comment about that you'd like. The thing that was really fascinating to both him and myself was the fact that H1Z1 is always 75% off, which brings their price. And now the games are split. Let's be clear. The games are split. So it's $20 for whatchamacallit, H1Z, whatever the hell. What's the regular game called with the shooting in the arcade?
Just Survive?
No.
You're talking.
What is the actual one? Is it called H1Z1 now?
Now it's H1Z1. Yeah.
Okay, kill me. With H1Z1 and Just Survive, those are both $20 a piece, $40 combined. But the only one anybody plays is H1Z1. That game is normally $19.99.
Yeah.
It's now 75% off, as it is most of the time, which brings it down to $4.99 on Steam.
Yep.
So you would think, all right, it's a good sale for the consumer. But him and I were talking about, what does this mean for the company? And of course, we brought up the fact that
they're making like half that, because Steam takes
about 30% on average, plus any so they're making less than $3.50 per sale of H1Z1. What? Obviously, we don't know the internals of it. I just find it fascinating from a business perspective. How many copies do they have to sell for it to be worth them selling the game? And of course,
maintaining servers.
Well, maintaining servers and just the fact of obviously it does because it's a physical because it's not a physical product. It doesn't cost them anything monetarily to generate a new key. Of course, there's R&D and staff and that thing. I'm not saying with that, but how many copies of this game do they have to sell at $4.99 for it to be worth it? And then what the conversation eventually turned into was, are they pretty much just selling the game at such a discount because they're making all their money on the crates, and that's the goal?
I think they're betting on the crates and skins.
So
remember they just made the change to where they will now make transaction fees from the skin sales.
Yes, on the marketplace.
Yes, so that was something that wasn't on before. So there was no incentive for them to sell it cheap, because they were pretty much only making money off the crate keys and the actual game itself. I think now that they have the Steam set up correctly to where they make money off of each transaction, and people don't have to go through these third-party skin selling sites or skin trading sites. Now they can actually trade and sell through Steam itself, and now they have a way of actually making money off of continued interest in skins. As I said a couple weeks ago, they were in it too late, but I think they're hoping that this will kind of turn into a TF2. So, it's a free-to-play game at this point, with a little bit of disincentive for cheaters, because, a cheater at least still has to pay a couple dollars to be able to create a new copy. Because I think they're worried if they went totally free-to-play, that it would just be let's just generate a new hardware ID, and we'll be able to keep playing, get a new IP address, new hardware ID, whatever they need to do. And then they'll be able to keep going on that cheat account. So I think that that's the only reason for the slight price, is to make it to where there's some reason, to not just create new accounts.
So, okay, I get all that, but okay. And this is gonna sound very odd, because if Brian, if you put on your time machine hat or hop on your time machine and head back to mid 2016, way back, you would remember that the H1Z1 podcast at the time had a change.org petitioning Daybreak to make the game from a free-to-play. It was always pay because it was early access, but the concept was it was going to be released as a free-to-play. Change that from a free-to-play to a pay-to-play. And I'm not saying that we necessarily changed the decision one way or the other, but the game did, in fact, switch their business model from free-to-pay to pay-to-play.
Yes.
They did, in fact, do that. Now, do we have anything to do with that? I'm not saying we did or didn't, but we led the charge on that. There's no doubt about it. So now the next words out of my mouth are going to sound very stupid, but the game has changed so much since then that at this point in time, would they not be better off making just H1Z1, not just Survive, just H1Z1, the King of the Kill game? Would they be better off not making that just a free-to-play? Like Fortnite or TF2 or PlanetSide 2 or anything else? If the goal is with the crates? Because it seems like that's what the goal is. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I think they're going that way. I think they are going that way. And I think that part of it is just that I think that initially, first of all, they don't want to feel like they're like just all of a sudden free to play. I think they want to get the skin market kind of figured out and see how that's going first. Now that they have it to where it's set up correctly, kind of see that the skin trading and everything is working properly. And then I have a feeling that they will go free to play. Once they see and they just say, all right, if you like our game, buy some keys, trade skins, do all that stuff. Because honestly, I think that even if the game is this cheap, they're still losing players. I mean, they gained a little bit of players for a very short time after the sale started. But I mean, honestly, it's not going the other direction now. It's not like they're gaining now all of a sudden every week, gaining at a $5 game price. The number of players is not going up, which is kind of an odd thing. You would figure if it's this cheap, you'd be at least getting, hundreds of thousands of people buying the game, and you would gain at least thousands of players, and that's not happening.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the date on this. It was 2 years ago. We had 836 signatures on this petition. It says 2 years ago. I don't know what I don't know the actual date on it. But it just really seems like at this point in time they would be far better off making King of the Kill H1Z1 free to play and just do PlanetSide 2 with it. Just let it go. Make a bunch of crazy outlandish skins, because that's what, again, I'm okay with those in H1Z1, King of the Kill. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. Make a bunch of crazy skins that people are going to go and buy crates for and lottery and sell in the marketplace and make your money that way. Now, I mean, and some could argue they might as well just make Just Survive free because nobody's going to play it anyway, which would be a valid argument, I think, to make at least at this point in time. I just 75% off. They're selling the game for $5.
Yeah.
Why? That I think that, and I just why? I mean, it just seems like at this point it's easier to make it free.
Well, and I think I'd seen in there someone mentioning, well, why don't they have it to where you get the game, like buy 2 crates and you get the premium version of the game? You know what I'm saying? Kind of like have it open the free tier, and then when you get 2 crates, like it unlocks. Some places have it to where you buy a crate and you get a month of premium, which whatever that gives you, maybe extra points, whatever it is. Like I think they should almost go to that type of a system, because that's kind of where it's at right now. You buy crates and you get these skins and all this stupid stuff. I think if they kind of treated it as here is the free tier. Getting your coins, you can unlock crates over time, but it's very slow. And then you can get one where if you buy a crate, you get onto this premium for a period of time. Maybe you get more coins to where then you have a chance at getting even more crates, and just get into the whole crates game, because that's what they do with certain tablet games. Like I play Vainglory a lot, and it doesn't take over the game. They did it in a very good way to where I can either buy crates or I can buy different things, or I don't have to. I can still eventually get to the same result. But if I want to have a different skin on a character, or even if I want to get some of the new characters right away, I can buy a crate, get some points, and then I have it. And so, I mean, for me, that's it. You can't look at one player and say, okay, that one is a paid player and this one's a free player. Like, there's not that drastic of a change. And as long as they keep that to where it's not like, what was the other one we were playing? Heroes and Generals.
Heroes and Generals, awful.
Where it's like, okay, well, there's someone who paid for that tank. Like, here's someone who's pays for whatever, and that person is a person who bought all that stuff. As long as they keep away from that, and maybe it just saves you some grinding for a day or two. Like, it's not the end of the world, but amount of grinding in a day or two would be the same as what you can get by purchasing a crate. Sure, do that. But I don't know. I don't know. I kind of gave up on guessing where Daybreak is going.
Well, I think I'm in
everything.
I think I'm in kind of the same boat, because I mean, it's just it's useless to try to figure out what they're trying to do. But I thought it was interesting, and I want to thank PH for pointing out that it is always pretty much 75% or 50% off. But the 75 is just kind of odd. And there's some other games on here, like for example, ARK is 60% off, but ARK is listed as a $59 title, $60 title. So their 60% off is $24. Same thing with GTA. The GTA, say the new, GTA 5, $60, 60% off. They can do that. Ghost Recon, Tom Clancy's new game, again, $60 title, 50% off. They can swing that. And even Rocket League. Rocket League's $20. They're 40% off. Rocket League is never going to be on sale for $4.99. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
My wife
never
actually
bought some crates. My wife actually bought some keys in Rocket League.
Yeah, they're great.
But she had no idea how like the whole system worked, and I was like, "Well, just buy some keys," because I wanted to show her, because I was kind of discussing with her the whole gambling concept. Of crates, and she didn't really like connect with it. She didn't understand what I meant. So I was like, okay, buy 5 keys and let's watch what happens. And because I knew where this was going to go.
This is going to go to Brian getting a call from the credit card company. I'm sorry, so your fraud protection detected you spent $3,000 on keys on PlayStation Network.
No, but I want it, but that's where it can lead, right? And so I wanted her to see like the whole what I say when I say I don't like crates and things like that being in games. I wish they would take them out. You know, and people's, if they're not into that, like they're just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's do this. And so we got 5 keys. She rolls them, gets just worthless skins for cards that she doesn't even have.
Excellent.
Right. And she's just like this, like she was mad. And like your initial reaction, it's like, well, I got to get 5 more keys. I got to get something. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that you think. Yeah. And I said, okay, so that feeling, do you feel like the exact same thing as if you just went and threw down for some lottery tickets and you came out with nothing? Maybe you got $1 back on one to partially pay for one of the tickets you lost. Like that's the exact same feeling that you have at this moment. Like, oh, I didn't win, and I was expecting to get something. And it's an exact that feeling. I mean, it's the exact same thing as gambling in my mind. And and she said it afterwards. She's like, you feel like you have to go get more because you just are gypped. Like you didn't get anything.
What did you just say? You can't use that word.
Gypped. No, that you could say gypped.
You can't. That's very offensive to gypsies. It's 2018. PH, get the police on this.
What about the gypsies that come to our house and try to scam us for putting tar in our driveways and re-roofing our house, and then it all falls apart? Like it's illegal here.
Well, I don't know about
Idaho.
All I know is that from my Boston trip that Idaho is the greatest place on earth. I didn't realize there was gypsies flying around in their magic carpet.
We get rid of them here, so we tell them to go to California and New York.
All right, moving on.
Anyways, so then I went and I for the Christmas thing, I almost said holiday, for the Christmas event, they had it to where you could get a key, like you could play games and get a key that you can't trade anything out of the crate. I did it, and I got a car the very first roll, and she was mad. And I just said, I don't need to play anymore. I don't need to do any more crates because I got, quit while I'm ahead.
There you go.
So
posted the definition of that for everybody that's interested. So just going over this quickly. If anybody's interested in buying some of these top selling games, just a couple of them. Of course, Rocket League, which obviously isn't a survival game, but just a hell of a game, is on sale, 40% off. You get that for $12. ARK, great deal if you don't own ARK. It's now $60, $25 or $24 is a hell of a deal for ARK. PUBG, of course, not on sale. There's no reason for them to be on sale. We'll cover them a little bit later in the program. H1Z1's $5. The new Ghost Recon Wildlands, which, I mean, you could guess that you could say survival, $30. GTA's $24. The Witcher Wild Hunt is on sale, 50% off. That's $20.
Which has been out for a while, so
yeah.
I mean,
and then scrolling through here, I'm surprised Call of Duty is on sale. The new Call of Duty World War II is on sale for $50. A couple of the Dark Souls games, Arma. Dead by Daylight is on sale. It's 50% off, on sale for $10. Same thing with Rust, $10. Friday the 13th is on sale. I forgot that game's $40. You can get that for $20. I mean, I don't know at this point if it's worth it, but that's on sale for $20. Left 4 Dead 2, if you don't already have it, is literally $2. Just straight go pick up quarters off the road. That is worth $2.
Just don't put 1 gallon of gas in your tank. Like go short 1 gallon and buy the game.
Coming from the person that refused to buy the ARK DLC. Who, by the way, I've got to give a shout out to our friend Jonesy, who just sent me a key for it. Friend gifted it to me on Steam, so thank you, Jonesy. The Forest, which we talked about, again, $10, good deal. But if you're not playing with a group of friends, maybe don't. It's not a great game to play with by yourself, at least in my opinion. I don't know. It's
not a long-term game.
Factorio, which I've heard is a great game, is not on sale, which is unfortunate. That game has never been on sale. That's just my Grim Dawn was one of the Humble Bundles. Subnautica is kind of another survival game we've talked about a little bit. It's on sale, $20. 7 Days is 62% off. This is probably the best price I've seen for 7 days.
Under $10.
Under $10, $9.50 for 7 days. I'd recommend that for $9. Dying Light is $18, and that's about it. But there's a lot of good games in there. So if you've got some maybe some Visa gift cards left over from Christmas that you've got maybe $20 or $30 on, there's a whole bunch of games in here that totally fit the thing. Oh, and Gary's mod's on sale too for anybody that doesn't have that. That's another good one. $5. But you need CS Source, so be aware of that. Just trying to scroll through and make sure I didn't miss anything. Nope, I think I got it all. Fallout. The new Fallout 4 is on sale. $15 as well. So there you go.
Yes. And let's see. I think the Deacon was asking about the Black Death. I think it is on. It's 33% off right now, so it's $13.39. So if you're interested in the Black Death,
there you go.
It is 33% off.
Oh, and I guess Garry's Mod comes with assets now, so you don't need to purchase CS Source. That's new.
Yes. I think they finally combined it in there, so you don't have.
It's about time.
Yeah. I mean, it is their own company. Like
it is literally the same game, or built off the same engine.
Yep.
All right. Where do we want to go from here? Let me pull my show notes back up.
All right. So, I mean, if you want, we can go to. What do you want to go into PUBG initially? I mean, we're already an hour in.
We're about 45 minutes into the program.
45 minutes in. Okay. Let's go and do PUBG. I did put notes in here for the Xbox release, just so that they're kind of separated. If you're interested in playing on Xbox, we'll have notes to that. But I would assume it's just probably similar to PC, but done, they're just implementing things a little bit differently. So we don't really need to cover the Xbox notes, but I do have a section so you can go check out, see the changes that are having with that. But on the PC, they had the 1.0 launch. And this is what happened on the 20th. So this was, let's see, the day after our last live broadcast, right?
Yes.
On there, they have some pictures like the new Winner Chicken Dinner shirts they put in there. And that is free. So in the next few weeks, if you go in there, it should be in your inventory after logging in. So this is a limited edition t-shirt. So make sure you log into the game. I'm going to have to do it. I haven't played it in a couple of weeks. And you can get a copy of the skin. And they said that, the 1.0 launch marks the end of the first chapter of our development team's effort to bring forth the best battle royale experience for our players. But they say this is just the beginning. So it's not like 1.0 and it's done. After 1.0 is out, we will continue to uphold the open development principles and keep listening to your feedback. So as we have done through alpha, beta, and early access stages of the process, reaching version 1.0 for us means establishing the basic structures for the smooth battle royale gameplay of our game, balancing and polishing in terms of gunplay, sound, animations, and other features and systems will continue after launch. So, I mean, for me, that kind of notes that this is really like 1.0 launch is more of just a term. Because if you think about what they're doing, they're saying, well, we're going to keep on making all these changes afterwards. It doesn't really change anything.
No.
I mean, I think they're doing everything exactly the same after.
Same thing with ARK.
Yep. It's purely a term.
It is.
I mean, it could be a DLC. I mean, there could be some reason they learned their lesson from watching Studio Wildcard to where they may be releasing something that is a paid for something. And they don't want people complaining and killing their rating just because it's early access, man. So
yeah, and I get it and all. I really don't care. Like I'm this person with the DLC, and for anybody that listened to last week's show, I sound like a broken record, I'm sure. If they could have done DLC day one, wouldn't have bothered me. I just wouldn't have bought it. I mean, it's plain and simple. I just don't buy that stuff. So it really doesn't bother me. Vaulting, Jonesy's asking if they added vaulting. They did add vaulting. This is the build that you guys played in the test server probably 3 weeks ago. Which you at the time were a little concerned about. Have you had a chance to play it since then?
No, I haven't played. No, I haven't played since. Now here's a note that they did make. So they did 2 waves of adjustments to deal with server stability since the initial PC build number 3.
Okay.
And they said that they estimate that there was around 50% decrease in stability issues experienced by players since then. So they've cut down the instability by half. They said we understand that this is not enough. So they've identified various causes for stability issues and are expecting progressive improvements going forward. So they're still working on getting the network connection, but like as far as they're looking at limiting maximum ping, which is going to be an issue possibly for people like Joe, because this is a lot of what happened with H1Z1, to limit the players coming from China. They put on a ping cap, and on this they're looking at doing that to where you can have a maximum ping when connecting. But there's two sides to that. I mean, there's definitely benefits of everybody being on a similar ping level, but that may limit who you're able to play with. You may have to connect to your closest servers and play with people that are in your zone, which places like Call of Duty. I mean, there's a lot of games that really segment you into, I mean, even Rocket League. They put you in, for me, I'm in the Northwest servers. They don't put me on the East Coast servers because I get better pings, unless I go in there and manually say like, okay, I want to put Nick in my group and now we'll queue together. I don't know if there's going to be a way to get around that on this, if they're incredibly strict. So if you find, I mean, this would be one thing to where if you find that you can't play with your friends anymore, you may want to contact them, put in some feedback and say, could you create a way that I can still play with my friends? Because like with H1Z1, we can't play with Joe anymore. It's impossible for East Coast to play with Australia.
Yeah. And it's almost to the point where I wish for those cases, we could hop in a server that didn't have those ping restrictions. I'm not
maybe have some that are, if you're really concerned about hacking and all that, go onto one that's more of a ping locked server. If you don't and you want to play with friends, there's a different server you can go on.
I want to be careful with how I go about this, because we were and have talked many times about how important having some type of ping restriction or ping lock or ping thing, and I feel like us talking about this is negating all of those stuff we talked about, and I don't think it is. For certain situations, I just think a server, a global server that anybody can connect to. You have NA, NA East, NA West, EU, the Asia servers, and the Oceanic or whatever, and then you just have general, one that does not have those ping restrictions.
Well, I mean, maybe there's one that's like, so it's not ridiculous. So you don't have people that are like skipping 10 steps every.
No, that wouldn't even bother me, because that wouldn't bother me. One general server where if you want to play with somebody outside of your region, that's the game mode you have to play. It's not going to be the best experience, but if the goal is to play with somebody else that isn't in your region, that's how you have to do it. Yeah. And that wouldn't be the end of the world, I don't think. The problem is when you're playing NA East and you've got people from China playing with 360 milliseconds ping.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's a huge problem. So maybe just more of a just one server that just allows any ping on there. Batch and Polar saying that the test servers are usually general and don't have that. So I guess that's a workaround for at least the time being. I just kind of feel weird talking about that because we did make such a push for those ping restrictions and those ping locks.
And then
saying, oh no, well,
and then when we got it, I mean, we got it with H1Z1, and then we were frustrated because, well, okay, now Joe can't play with us. So there's, as you said, there's two sides to that.
Yeah.
With them restricting it, there is a limitation possibly of who you can play with, and we have people that are on all sides of the globe that play with us. So that gets very difficult when we all want to play together, yet we want to have the restrictions. So, you don't have people skipping around during the gameplay. And it's kind of like you have to have one or the other.
Well, you do and you don't. And I think the problem I personally had with it was the fact that, again, you would log on to an NA East and there would be people from not your region playing. If I had to log on to H1Z1 general server and people were lagging and skipping around, I can bitch and complain, but I have the choice to play on a different server. At least give me, and I think what it comes down to with this is give me, the user, the option. Do I want the optimal experience, which is me on my local country server with people that are in my country, or do I want an experience that may be subpar, but I can play with some of my friends that are outside of my region? give me the let me make the decision. Do I want a good experience or a bad experience?
Yep.
That's it. Give me the option, though. And I think that's maybe what we should have pushed for originally. Because I do kind of feel like an ass sitting back now and going, oh, now we don't want ping restrictions because we just.
Well, that's half of what H1Z1 was, is people getting what they wanted and then being mad about it.
Well, and I think we're guilty of that right now with this. Because we just didn't realize the ramifications. So
I mean, we didn't want people from China, but then it's like, well, okay, Joe's right below China.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we want them to be okay.
Can you have Australia come through, but not China?
Exactly.
I mean, it's one or the other.
So, and here's the thing. I have no problem admitting I was wrong. I mean, clearly we were wrong with saying that you just need to have single ping restrictions. But
it's got to be more complicated than that.
But there is a middle ground. And I think the middle ground would be a server that allows anybody from any region to play.
Yep. I think that's the compromise.
So I'm sorry, Daybreak. No, I mean, that's serious. Because honest to God, Brian, I feel like a total a-hole sitting here right now talking about this after how much bitching and complaining I did about the ping stuff. I mean, I really do not. It really does make me feel bad. But I just didn't realize the ramifications.
Yep, and we learned, and I mean,
now there's a new. Now I've got a new opinion on it. My opinions change. Thinking changes. So, all
right. So
be a jerk.
Says before applying the measure to all regions, we will need to fully investigate its feasibility and analyze the outcome.
By the way, we're talking about PUBG now.
Yeah, this is PUBG now.
Yeah, we were
so we'll be running a limited test. After implementation, players with a high ping difference from average ping range for the region or players connected over long distances will not be able to connect to a match. As a result, only players in a certain ping range will be able to enjoy the game together in the same server, which leads to a more stable and smooth environment. We'll keep you updated on our progress as we continue looking into the method and analyzing our results, what they're saying is exactly what we experienced. They're going to group people together and you won't be able to connect to people most likely that are in a different region. Another thing they said they've done is we've strengthened cheat prevention measures and continue to reinforce them. We've also implemented various automatic and manual anti-cheat measures. And thanks to all these actions, we have seen an estimated reduction of 65.7% in the number of players trying to use cheats. We are also continuing to actively remove banned players from our leaderboards. No online multiplayer game can remove all cheaters, but we will continue to direct our best efforts towards reducing the number of cheaters as much as possible and maintaining a fair play environment. And then he goes through just, thanking, says, without you guys, none of this would be possible. It says, you may have had over 100 chicken dinners, or maybe you're still hunting for your first one. What matters is that you've stuck through us through good times and rough patches alike. So just thank you. And it says, thank you for your feedback, your reports, your thoughtful criticism. They put a note on that. And thank you for cheering us on. So
it's alpha, bro.
Yes. And that was their note for the PC 1.0. And then they have the PC 1.0 update number 1, and they also have the original PC notes.
Real quick before you jump into that, I do want to just mention that I have reached out again to somebody from PUBG about getting a Xbox version of this now that I'm back and actually have access to an Xbox. Because I am very curious on those differences. So if they don't give me one, I'll just go out and buy it. But I'm really interested in seeing the differences. I just want somebody that has almost transitioned completely to PC. Used to play console exclusively, play pretty much only PC except for Call of Duty, which we need to get back on. I'm interested to see what that transition is like again back to console for a game that I've already played a whole bunch with on PC. So and I want everything for free. What can I say?
Well, and that's kind of the nice thing is, like, I was able to get a media key for Survive the Nights, and I was able to get one for Osiris New Dawn.
And here's the thing. I'm being dead serious about this, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm not bragging or anything, Brian.
Yeah.
Before PUBG was huge, Brandon was in this chat multiple times.
Yes.
This isn't anything crazy. So it's not like we're like just like going out there and being like, oh, give us some. He was in the chat. We DM back and forth on Twitter when he listened to the show. Brian made a comment about hiring somebody for UI. He literally direct messaged us the next day and said we're in the process of hiring somebody. So that's why I'm doing this. For anybody else, I'd just go out and buy it because I'm not a fan of just like, oh, I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me free stuff. I'm not a fan of that. These companies have to make money. Guess what? Them giving me a free key doesn't pay somebody's salary. I fully understand that.
And like for me, I mean, I run into the issue of like I want to talk about a lot of games, but man, it's tough to buy every single game that we talk about.
Yeah.
Because you gotta think a lot of these when they first come out, they're $60. And a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'll buy this game." They pick and choose.
But you're using a service to get it. You're not just You're part of a media.
I'm part of a media.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a streamlined process. Sometimes I'll contact them directly. Like Survive the Nights, I contacted them directly, and they said, "Well, here's the website," which I was already a member of, and I just didn't realize it was on that list. And so I clicked it, and then they approved it for me. But I can get a free copy of regular ARK. I don't think that works it's only PC though. Just there's different things that we can get, and those are really helpful because then it allows us to at least try the game without us getting burnout of, man, I just bought a game and then that one sucked, and now we're supposed to go out and buy another $60 game. Like it just gets tough and I understand why they give away media keys, because you would just burn yourself out buying every game so you can talk about it, and then half of them or more end up being duds. So
there you go.
Yeah. And if you guys get it, that they want a certain number of views. I mean, if you consider yourself a YouTube person, let's say you have a YouTube channel and you get a decent number of views, you can apply for the same things. They look at those numbers. So they look at us, they look at our activity on Twitch, they look at our activity on YouTube. I show them our website so they can see that, we have this backlog of episodes, and then they're most likely going to approve it.
That's how we got into PAX. We got into PAX with media passes.
Yep. But if you go on there and you say, all right, well, I've got 5 YouTube videos, maybe with 12 views each, you're not, you can go sign up. They're not going to give you anything. Yeah. So, you got to have something on there.
This is a great segue, Brian, into probably our first game giveaway. And also why we talk about support the show, and you don't have to support it monetarily. The Humble Bundle is the great way to do it. They have their Humble Bundle store. It's mostly Steam keys. Some games are DRM free, so you can play them anywhere. You don't need Steam if you're an anti-Steam person. We've got these over on our website, infectionpodcast.com/support. And the great thing about the Humble Bundle thing is you buy the game, which is typically on sale because Humble Bundle always runs promotions, and it helps us out directly. We have made a tremendous amount of money using that. And I'm saying that because that's going to really help hopefully, our goal is to get up to PAX 2018.
We haven't been withdrawing that money. Like we've been keeping it in there.
Yeah.
So that when PAX comes up, we can use that towards our cost.
Exactly. So it's really been a tremendous help for people using the Humble Bundle thing. So on our website, infectionpodcast.com/support, if you buy through Humble Bundle, and PH said the bundles are trash. They really are. The bundles themselves have not been great, but this also works on the Humble store. So if you're going to purchase a game on Steam for $20 or Humble Bundle for $20, we'd highly, highly recommend you use the Humble Bundle link, and you get the game same price, and it also helps us out. So we are hopefully going to be heading out to PAX West later on this year. That'll be July or August, and we'll use hopefully some of that Humble Bundle money to get us out there. So that's why the community funded thing that we do here is so important. So infectionpodcast.com/support. And Brian, you've got a game. What are we giving away?
Yes. So if you want to do !! giveaway in chat, and I will get that initiated now. All right. So ! giveaway in chat. And I'm going to be giving away a copy of, actually, I don't want to do that one. I am switching it last second. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm going to be giving, that one was too cheap. I'm giving away a copy of Cosmonautica. And I might throw another game in there as well, but it'll be a surprise.
Oh. It's like gambling. It's gambling. Oh, you might get a good game. You might get H1Z1. Who knows? Oh boy.
Yeah, I'll throw another key. This one actually is a game that it's like a space.
No. It's a secret. It's like your wife opening the key in Rocket League.
Well,
could be great.
I'm going to tell. I'll tell them what game this one is, but I'm not going to say what the next one is.
Oh, that's what I mean. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So I'll throw in a free key of another game after this, but this is a simulation space strategy indie trading game. So a space trading adventure. So if you want to do !point giveaway, and then there will be a free game thrown in there as well.
Very cool.
It's sweetening the pack.
And another way to support the show as well that we don't mention, if you've got a whole bunch of game keys, people have sent us stuff in the past. Send your keys to contact@infectionpodcast.com. Brian will add them to his Excel spreadsheet of games that he has and give them away. So that's another way too. If you've got I've got some I've got to give to him. I've got a whole bunch of Humble Bundle games that I've just never redeemed. Send them over to Brian, and he will dish them out. Because, hey, tune into the show live again. We are live here every Tuesday night. We've been here live every Tuesday. For this entire year, we have been live on Tuesday night. It's been really fantastic, the year of 2018. So you can tune in live, win a couple games, hang out in the chat, and be part of the program. So about an hour into the show now, Brian.
Well, okay, so actually, let's finish up really quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I cut you off on PUBG?
Yeah, well, we didn't finish. So
I'm sorry.
I'll just run through really quick. So they had on there, I don't know that we really covered what was in the 1.0, but they did a lot of optimizations. That was one big thing they focused on, was trying to get it to run better. They redesigned the lobby background and UI. They added that replays menu to it. And then they said they had cut down on some of the server lag that people were experiencing. They added the new map, Miramar. And they added 2 weather types, clear and sunrise. And then they added in 5 new weapons. A lot of that was linked to Miramar. They added 3 new vehicles. And then they did the whole vaulting climbing system. And this is live. You may have seen some of this stuff in test. And then they did a ballistics overhaul, which we had discussed somewhat previously. They changed some of the lobby music that you experienced, changed the vehicle sounds and things that you had heard on test. Now that's on live. Redid the whole UI. So that was 1.0 regular. And then they did the update number 1, where they changed the map selection ratio to be equal for Erangel and Miramar. They just fixed the replay system some, and then they did bug fixes. So that came out on the 27th that they did that first patch to the 1.0. So I think that brings us current. So anyways, I just wanted to finish that one up.
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't realize you weren't done with that. That is that PUBG, and we've got some PUBG news I'll mention in my... actually, no. Won't mention it because I have no way to update that Google spreadsheet. Guess I'll mention it now. PUBG, because I have no way to do current players this week. PUBG hit the number, Brian.
Yes.
And we talked about it. The number, the big old 3 million.
So when did they do it?
They did it in 2017. I'm going to pull it up right now. I believe it was when Brandon first tweeted out. I believe it was... let's say the second, I believe it was the 29th. I actually won't pull it up. I can't load that website either. So if you could pull it out for me. But I believe it was the 29th. He tweeted out that they did, in fact, hit 3 million players. It was kind of the countdown to the clock. We saw the test server pulled some people away. At one point they had 100 and something. So let's see. This was the December 29th. They hit 3,106,358.
Yes.
So that is the high. And 2017 was the year of PUBG. Just here's a reminder for everybody. This game came out in March of 2017.
Yes.
Not all year. Didn't come out March of 2016. March of 2017 was the first time anybody played it. We had we gave out a whole bunch of early access keys. If you remember that, we had like 40 or 50 keys to give out. So we played it a little before that, but the release of that game was March, and by December 29th, literally the last hour, last couple hours of the year, they pulled in over 3 million active concurrent players, which is
I think that's why they made a push to get 1.0 out before the end of the year, so that they could actually have everybody on live, see what was actually the number of players. Because as you said, they were pulling away with the test servers because there was so much stuff on the test servers, a whole new map, the whole vaulting system, like all this stuff was on the test servers. So you had a split community.
And they pulled it out. That they absolutely, and this game only goes up. I mean, we're at the 3 million active users on December 29th. It only goes up from there.
And one thing, on the 28th, they had put out a notice. With BattlEye, there's been 1.5 million bans so far on the 28th.
That's crazy.
Yep, 1.5 million cheaters.
But see, that's the difference between somebody, and that's the difference between a game that is, I mean, they are putting the effort. Them and BattlEye are putting in the effort to combat cheaters. That's the difference. They aren't just sitting by lame duck waiting for somebody else to come up with the solution. It appears that they have to be working hand in hand with BattlEye to figure this stuff out. They have to be. Yeah. They are trying to find the solution. You're never going to eradicate them completely. You're never going to stop cheating completely. As long as the internet is out there, people will be cheating in games. It's just a fact. It's going to continue to happen. It's not good. It's not whatever. But it's going to. It's just going to continue to happen. So the only thing that you can do is just, work. You got to actively work to combat it. And they are absolutely doing it. And they're going to reap the rewards because they're going to have the system that works. And then that number 3 million is going to be 3.5 or 4 or 5. I mean, I don't know where the number stops, but they're putting in the effort now because nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to play a game where some freaking hacker comes around and kills you. It is the worst freaking thing in the world.
We put up with it for a long time.
Literally, there is nothing worse. I mean, I'd almost rather be hit by a freaking car. I mean, it is really, God's honest, the worst thing in the world. You're trying to play, and you know that somebody else on the other end of the keyboard is just freaking cheating. There's nothing worse. And all you can do is sit there.
Yeah. One thing, Sareth brought up, he's like, hey, how much do you think the ban rate will drop when dedicated Asian servers come out? But one thing I wanted to mention is China is doing their VPN ban here very soon.
Interesting.
So I'm trying to think of, I know it's like at the beginning of 2018, so it could be any time, but they're doing that ban on VPNs coming out of China here, at the beginning of this year. So I think that'll be, once these companies say, all right, the Asia servers are dedicated, or there's a dedicated server, kind of like what we talked about, a dedicated client for those regions, then they can lock down and saying any traffic here is required, to be from this region to come in here. And also, traffic from these regions can't go to our other servers. And then not being able to get out of the country with a VPN. I mean, there may be some way, but if they can analyze traffic, and if they could say, if this is encrypted traffic, you don't have the ability to leave the country, which is very difficult to do. Going in a little bit of the technical side of it, when you go to gmail.com, when you go to google.com, when you go to Facebook. Well, when Nick can.
By the way, I just want to make as we're recording this live right now, it's not just me. I'm getting a message from our good friend Amnon, who's the normal watcher of the show. He also has Time Warner. He lives about 2 hours from here. He cannot access Google. It's not me. It's not my fault.
It's a Time Warner issue.
So for people that are wondering, I'm unable to access any Google products, any website that uses any Google services. It's a real mess. I can't can't load half of the show.
No,
it's fun.
So my concern is, if they can't just ban all encrypted traffic, because anytime you go to anything that has an HTTPS on the website, that's encrypted traffic going back and forth. It's encrypted on your client side and decrypted at the server side, and vice versa. But the thing is they can say, these certain ports can't go out. They can watch for certain types of traffic, but I don't know that they'll be able to totally cut out, because there's got to be ways to kind of bypass that, or to make it look like you're going back and forth between a regular website when really it's actual gaming traffic or something. I mean, I'm sure there's a way around it, but PH brings up, with ping restrictions, all that doesn't really matter. If games start restricting pings, if you had a VPN, that doesn't fix ping. That purely just makes you seem like you're from another region. So I think that if we go through and, these companies put these ping restrictions in, then there's the VPN traffic, being blocked. I think you're going to have people actually playing in their own regions, which, other than maybe you won't be able to play with certain people you wanted to play with, I think all the way around, it's more benefit for the gaming experience. Like, that experience of you sitting down and not seeing people skip around and not doing all those things. So I don't know. I think that them putting that restriction in kind of makes it so that whole VPN thing doesn't really matter. But right now, until they get that put in place, either the ping restrictions or the VPN block, anybody can come in and play in your region. There's not like there's a block net right now anyways. So I think that once those things are in place, you'll see a very different game. Like, what you experience when you log into the game will be very different.
This year, 2018, I think is going to be a very instrumental, pivotal year.
Yeah, transitional year.
Yes, in how cheaters and hackers and ping and regions and all that stuff is dealt with. I would assume it's all going to come to a head this year, and somebody's going to do something.
One thing is with the rebounding economy. When we're in more of a recession, companies were just wanting people to play and somehow keep some sort of a revenue source coming and people playing the game. I think with the rebounding economy, they'll be looking at, well, here's the amount of money we can make on a game. Like, we need to ensure that we make that money, and then we also need to ensure that we maintain the player base, because there's money in video games again, right? Or there's the possibility of money in video games again. And when there's money behind something, that's when research, that's when upgrades, that's when technical know-how gets put into place. When you go into a recession, a lot of shortcuts are taken. If you think of the recession we had, H1Z1 was kind of born out of that. A company that put minimal effort, just honestly, put minimal effort into things and were able to keep afloat, just because there wasn't serious competition out there. But the second there's serious competition and all of a sudden money's on the table. Look at PUBG came out, and they put money into their product. They put out serious technology upgrades. Like, they've been working on it consistently, keeping a group of developers behind it and being consistent. And then all of a sudden people started to realize what Daybreak was, and the fact that Daybreak was not delivering on their promises. Like, it's kind of weird how we accepted it for so long. Not just us personally, but the whole H1Z1 community accepted what they did for so long.
But hold on,
it didn't freak out about it.
Okay, well, of course there was no reason to freak out. There was no competition. You don't have to remember that far back, Brian. You literally have to remember back to January of last year, 1 year ago, 365 days ago.
Yep.
There was no competition. It was if you were playing,
and we were looking at the numbers, just go crazy with H1Z1.
Yeah, and then
all of a sudden competition came in, and then everybody's like, well, I brought up a number of weeks ago, the Emperor Has No Clothes. Like, all of a sudden, people's eyes opened and they looked at Daybreak and they're like, this game is crap. Like,
there's two sources of competition now. There's PUBG and there's Fortnite. And I personally don't like Fortnite, but from all of what I've heard, the guy at the Video Game Awards from Epic saying that they've reached over 1 million concurrent players. The whole thing, that's competition. There are people playing that game. So between PUBG 3 million active and Fortnite 1 million, there's competition in the market now. And now we're seeing that H1Z1 sucks. And that's why it's 75% off and they're selling it for $4.99. I'm not trying to beat up on H1Z1, but it's just the reality. There is competition.
Yep.
And there's going to be competition for somebody. Maybe it's
now that
Epic.
money is back in gaming. As I said, money is back in gaming. You will start seeing development companies, gaming companies start to really push out some high quality games, trying to get that money that's in video games again. And you'll see that competition out there. I mean, we got some great titles coming out here this year. Red Dead Redemption 2. You got The Last of Us 2. You've got a whole series of games. And that's just on consoles, but games that are going to be vying for people's entertainment dollars. And so I think you're going to see a lot of companies throw down and put out some pretty impressive titles, even in the PC gaming. Now that, PUBG is one thing they did, is made it very real that there is money in PC gaming that competes a little bit with console gaming, because that was before you just figured, you can't compete with the number of purchases.
Yep.
You can't compete with the number of dollars that are in console gaming. But I think that PUBG kind of proved that wrong. I mean, the fact that you've got 6 million, I don't remember how many people were on that purchase. I mean, millions and millions and millions of people purchasing this game. And showing that, okay, well, is there a reason to bring something like Red Dead Redemption 2 to a PC? Before you would say no, because there's such a small amount. But if you can get something that you think you can get 6 million plus sales on, we might start getting some of those games that maybe were console exclusives actually over to PC now, which is what I appreciate. I'd like to see that happen, because I enjoy personally playing on a PC with my friends that have a PC, being able to use a mouse and keyboard.
As do I. No, as do I. I'm quite excited for 2018. I think there's going to be a whole lot of cool stuff coming up this year.
Yep.
All right, let's I guess we'll roll for our giveaway here and move on with
all right, so it's Jonesy. Congratulations, it's Jonesy.
He doesn't
one
follow.
He's not a follower.
Oh my God.
I cannot believe it. He sends you a key for ARK. Yeah, he doesn't even follow the channel. Unreal. It's an easy, I think, 10 cans or something like that. I mean, if you're just looking for cans.
I love looking at our cans. I have like 11,000 cans on the infection account.
Yeah.
Which is great. So congrats, Jonesy. And again, thank you for the ARK key. All right. I see you've got some stuff in here for a game. I'll skip past that and move over to H1Z1, and then we'll come back to your game that you have in here. So here's a couple of quick stories, a couple quick updates from H1Z1. We are kind of covering stuff that's a little old now, because nothing happened last week.
Been on in 2 weeks.
Nothing happened last week. I mean, our company was closed the entire week. A lot of people were off at least half the week until Wednesday or so. So last week wasn't much, but I'm covering some older stuff, but that's all right. This is a hotfix from 12/19, which was actually during last week's show. I think this came out just after last week's show. All right, so a couple of things here, and this is for H1Z1 King of the Kill. The optimized the shotgun firing code, which should improve performance during combat. We're still investigating this and other performance improvements as our top priority. Shotgun. We've heard it a million times, waiting for some solution. Slightly increase the sniper rifle transition into scope mode, which makes the lens less intrusive. So that should be a little bit of a smoother process, and it should be a little bit better when you're scoping into the guns. Now it should be less obtrusive. Zip code, the zip code submission window and code redemption windows no longer occasionally gray out in the UI, and then updated the in-game reference to the hunting rifle to the sniper rifle. So that was the.
Now, did they go with sniper rifle because it's less offensive? Do you think hunting is an aggressive? Why would they change it from hunting rifle to sniper rifle?
There's no hunting in the game. I mean, there's nothing to kill.
Yeah, I think it's just like a term.
I don't know.
Do you think it's a PC thing, or do you just think it's more manly to say sniper and it's more of like a war? Which the game is transitioned from being. It made sense to have a hunting rifle in Just Survive.
Yes, absolutely. It still does.
And that this game was born out of that, to where they have a game that has nothing to do with the outdoors, has nothing to do with any animals. It's now you're hunting people, I guess, and now it's transitioned to more of a war game. I think sniper rifle matches, but I think the reason it was hunting rifles because originally this was just survive. And when you come out of an apocalypse, you don't have sniper rifles, you have a hunting rifle.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you have a 22 hunting rifle, or
Yep.
something of that.
Something to hunt
caliber.
a deer.
Yeah, exactly. Something to shoot a deer. That's exactly what it is. So that was the hotfix that was done on the 19th. And another hotfix on the 21st, which would have been last Thursday, I believe.
My birthday.
Yeah, and of course, we wish you a happy birthday. I don't know why you're looking for a
Thank you,
second birthday wish. I'm not wishing you a happy birthday again.
Just pointing it out.
Optimize the waterfall effects at the dam for substantial performance improvements. Water's always been weird in games. For all those little particles have to be rendered. It always is awful for performance, but they optimize that a little bit. Optimize several in-game UI elements for minor performance improvements. Fixed an issue that should reduce the number of G29 errors players are encountering. Added a setting to set your parachute sensitivity. That's good for people that want to go in and really customize their settings. The emote slots are no longer deleted if an equipped emote is traded while in a match. So it should just gray out or something. The slot should not disappear. And then north on the compass now stands out. So it's, instead of all of the directions being the same, north will stand out as it in most compasses as a red something or other, something to indicate north, which is the universal, I guess, direction everybody follows, north. I don't know. So that should stand out. And I believe, pull up our show notes here, I believe that brings us up to date on H1Z1 King of the Kill is what I'm going to continue to call.
Yes. So one thing, let's just jump really quickly into Miscreated. Now, there's not a lot to show, but I figured you might appreciate some of this.
I very much appreciate it.
But they have some screenshots of something they put in right before Christmas, and this is the snow. And it looks really good.
I mean, awesome. We've been in that diner.
Yes. This compared to the snow that they had supposedly in H1Z1, night and day difference. And they did this across the whole map. And it looks very nice. Yeah, they did a really good job of just transitioning the whole world into snow and not making it. They didn't make a huge deal of it. Like they're like, hey, we made it snow, and then you saw a bunch of screenshots of people running around. But now they have the technology in there, which is great. They can go through. They have those new weather effects they're putting in and everything. I think it would be cool if they had transitions of seasons in the game. I know that's something that like Survive the Nights can do, but I think in here now this kind of opens up to where maybe they can have seasons of maybe a month goes through the seasons a certain number of times, like 4 times or something. So every week you have a chance of experiencing all the seasons, or maybe in every 2 weeks, it goes from summer to fall to winter to spring back to summer again, and then you can appreciate this more than just having it for a week during Christmas. So, but as I said, they have this in here now. So I think that'll kind of open up a little bit for them to do something like that, but it looks good to me. So I just wanted to point it out so people could see it has a nice snow effect, and then just snow built up on, the vehicles, just everything. And
I mean,
it looks natural.
It does look natural. The only thing that no game has done very well snow, and when I say no game, games have done it, but games of this caliber, kind of early access survival game, the games that we cover, is how much, and Brian, you'd know this, you live in a somewhat snowy area, how much your distance gets cut off when with snow, how your visibility literally will drop to half a mile like nothing. Real quick, and they seem to miss that a little bit in this diner shot. You can see those trees in the background. They do seem like
if you look in the trees, though, you can see just past the initial set of trees, you can see there's
a little bit
kind of phase. Like they could bring that in
this
more.
picture. It looks good. I don't know if that's the sun haze, but that's actually what it looks like. As somebody we woke up to about 6 inches of snow Christmas morning. I love the snow. The visibility literally will go to nothing. I mean, you literally can't see in front of you. But it's beautiful. Really is beautiful. And I appreciate weather is a subtle thing in games. And the reason I'm so fixated and fascinated on it, first of all, I'm a weather nerd. Secondly, it's overlooked by so many games. Nobody gives a crap about it. And the Miscreated team has done a bang up job with weather. I mean, the way that the water puddles on sidewalks and stuff like that, and they've got their thunderstorms with tornadoes that destroy the landscape and the snow. I mean, they really just somebody on that team has got a passion for
somebody cares
for weather or just very fine detail, and this screenshot is what most of the games we talk about is missing. This doesn't exist in those games. I mean, ARK I think has a pretty decent weather system. They do have the snow biome, stuff like that. It's not necessarily the same. ARK does a pretty good job, but most other games are missing this. Even PUBG, their rain and stuff in PUBG is a joke. I mean, it's just like it's. And
I'm sure they'll continue to improve it.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, these guys, I mean, they did a good job, and so I just wanted to give them a little bit of kudos. Point out that I thought it looked really good.
It looked fantastic. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. So now, actually, there's Just Survive. I don't know. I just want to go into that really quick, but they did their.
Well, that's not
zero.
That's
oh, sorry,
Survive
I
the
said
Nights.
the wrong title.
Yes.
So Survive the Nights. So do you mind if we go into?
No,
that
that's what I thought.
quick?
That's what I thought you wanted to talk about. That's why.
I just had the wrong title in there.
Yeah.
That way it'll be correct on our website. All right, so they put out their 0.0.5 patch, and so that came out on December 27th. So just within last week, they did a number of fixes. This is something where they had a kind of public alpha release here recently, and it was pretty rough from everything I gathered. I saw a lot of the messages going forward of just people having troubles connecting, getting in the lobby. One thing is this development team is 5 people. And so they said, it's not going to be fixed tonight, but we are working on it all night. And they were able to get, I think the next day or whatever, to get it to where they could handle all the traffic. But this isn't their public release. I'm glad they're learning this stuff now on kind of a smaller, somewhat closed alpha release, and get that out there. So one thing they did is they fixed the lobby connection logic so that people wouldn't get kicked. They said it requires a lot of testing, so they're going to continue working on that. Container loot, they've fixed that. I mean, we've seen games. I mean, look at Miscreated. The container loot, they didn't have it for so long, but they're here, like the loot balance, things like that. They're trying to get that fixed to where weapons and ammo spawn more, because right now they're very, very rare. Container loot stagnation will be reduced by improving looping and clearing up old stuff, so you don't get, maybe there's loot that people don't want and it just sits in the container, so it'll eventually go away. Escaping from main menus now closes inner menus and removes their focus. Here on they fixed, like, for instance, the flashlight was oversized when you dropped it. Firewood craft times weren't right, so they lowered those. And then they said they have some known issues that they are acknowledging. There's no physical loot spawning. They're trying to get a balance and fix the issues with the container spawning, but by the design, the containers were meant to spawn less weapons and ammo since they were meant to be physical drops. Containers will start spawning ammo and weapons in 0.5, which is this one, until physical spawning is enabled again. So this physical spawning doesn't work, so that's why they put the weapons and ammo into the containers. And then as soon as they get that fixed, it'll go into the normal spawning. Ammo goes out of sync sometimes in the weapon. The lobby is experiencing technical issues. The doors sometimes don't initialize correctly, which makes them appear closed when they're actually open on the server. And we remember, I think this happened in H1Z1 for a while, and I don't remember what happened in PUBG. I think it did. Zombies are sometimes invisible on some clients, and then a low amount of loot. So that's something they're trying to get those correct. They are working on 0.0.6. They said that we should see that probably around this weekend. So they encourage people to go out, find these bugs, report them, because they're making the list and trying to get these things fixed as quickly as possible. So I'm going to be playing this a little bit this weekend. Go check it out. I just haven't had time with Christmas and everything and New Year's to get in there, but I'll go in there and then I can let you know what I think of it. I mean, the screenshot shots look really good, but I want to get in there and kind of see how it feels. Like Miscreated, like a beautiful environment, but the mechanics aren't quite right. I want to see how they got in this one, because it looks like they have a really nice environment on this one, and hopefully the movement mechanics and things like that are good. So that is Survive the Nights.
There you go.
All right.
We're on to.
All right. So let's go. Well, do you want to just go through the ARK patches really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So 275.52, and this was on the 20th. So just right after our last show, or our last live show. They fixed the rock drake, losing momentum when jumping off the ground. Chained bola rock drakes can no longer move while climbing and bolaed. The Ravager was getting stuck when dismounting and remounting on the zip line. One cool thing about Aberration is they have these zip lines that you can use to get between two spots. And the Ravager is one of the only creatures, if not the only one, that you can be riding on them and actually go over the zip line. Like they'll go on it and kind of go like a cat on a limb across it. Fixed an inability to activate weapons attachments with the N key. They fixed grappling players in tech shields, which was detaching the grapple. Fixed kiting Nameless into fertile areas of Aberration. Nameless are these creatures that will attack you randomly, and yeah, so I guess you were able to kite them into areas that they weren't supposed to be. Yeah, I guess to troll people. And it says they'll now leave when they go underground in such areas. Reduced rate of battery depletion in structures by 33%, because there's a lot of focus on lighting and having batteries and having your own source of lighting in this new Aberration. Roll rats now have 20% weight from wood, but 100% weight from stone. Aquatic mushrooms reduce biome poison debuff by 5 seconds per consumption rather than 1. Fix an issue with Cave Wolf being offset above zipline when reconnecting to server. And then above the notes, here it says above the notes published in the Steam forum, below are the notes on the version based on 275.5, which I think we covered. So, but we'll have the notes in there so you can go check them out because there's a slight variation, but it is a repeat of some of the different things. And then 275.53, which is a smaller one that fixed zipline collision issues and fixed a server crash with inventories. And then 276, which is a major version. Not a lot of notes here, but if you want to go check out the Ragnarok patch notes, they are 99% on the Ragnarok map.
Awesome.
So they're right there on having Ragnarok finished. So 1%, whatever they're going to be polishing up with that, but they are very close to having Ragnarok done. Aberrant Megalosaurus now properly laying aberrant eggs. And then 276.11, that's the next day on the 22nd. They fixed several dino collision issues, updated Ragnarok with several overspawn and level of detail fixes. 276.12, this is on the 22nd as well. Fixed issue with dungeon buttons not working on Ragnarok, and then fixed landscape collision issues on Ragnarok. And then the final one, 276.13, this was relating to their holiday event. So Christmas, this was on the 23rd. They did a one-time wild dino respawn. This is because, yeah. So pretty much when they add a new dino or they change, something about the dinos, and they need to have a fresh slate of dinos across the map,
yep,
they will do a dino respawn, which they don't really do usually on public servers. 5% chance of Christmas colored creatures, 50% chance of white colored dire bears. All hat wearing wild dinos are wearing Santa hats. And then 12 a.m. through 5 p.m. provided a temporary buff to live connected players, which boosts loot crate quality by 40% over the base values, 50% over Leo Magic values, and drops more loot and adds more cosmetic to crate drops. And that was for their Christmas event. And then they gave a command if you wanted to run that on your own private servers.
Excellent.
So, and I think is the Christmas event done? I don't know. I don't plan a public server, so I would assume it's probably.
If it's not, it'll be up in the next day or two. Those events their holiday events are normally pretty quick. It's probably done, if I had to guess.
Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much it for ARK. Other than Aberration, as I said, Aberation's out, and if you don't have that and you're into ARK, I would totally recommend you get the season pass, because I think it's definitely worse. Worth that amount because it feels like a totally new game with the amount of content changes that they've done. So if you're into ARK, get the season pass, and then as I said, I don't even know what is going to be on the next one.
it always keeps you wondering. I mean, they're just constantly hitting home runs with ARK, time and time again. There's no surprise, no shock. It's just what they do. All right.
So, all right. Now,
Unturned.
Yeah, we got Unturned, which has a couple change notes.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go down that one?
Yeah. So this is the Unturned patch that was done on December 30th. A couple of the additions here. This is working on the Greece map. Added 3 more beach locations with boat spawns, so there'll be 3 more locations that spawn boats. They added some airdrop nodes, added animal spawns, added the lighthouse to the map, which is lighthouses are always kind of pretty big POIs. We saw it in Rust. Unturned, it's probably the same thing too. Added new doors to the faction bases. A couple of there's some tweaks and some fixes. And PH is referencing something that we've talked about a couple times in the past, and we do want to get Nelson on when this gets closer to finished. But Unturned is being redone in Unreal, which is something it's currently running in Unity, and it's being redone in Unreal for version 4. So we will. He's posted on his blog a couple times about it, but
it's mostly just video. Like what he's shown so far is videos of mechanics working, not really maps and what those are going to look like. He has this kind of updated character that's in those videos, but it's mostly just showing how like turrets work and things like that. It's not really showing you what the game's going to look like.
So as that gets closer and there's more information, of course, we've had Nelson on there. I believe we had Nelson's first like in-camera real interview.
Yes.
So we'll get him back on. He seemed to really enjoy his time on here. The Unturned fandom loved him, and
yes,
it was altogether a pretty good time. He was very gracious with his time. So as that gets closer, we will we'll get him back on and he can explain his. But you got to remember, unlike all these other games we talk about, he is literally a one-man team. And we talked about it. If you go back, Brian, could you look up what episode that was? If you go back and look up the version, or if you go back and listen to that episode, he talks about allowing the community to create a map and how it was very nerve-wracking to give up the control.
That was episode 114.
114 of Infection. How the game was his baby, and giving the community the control to make a map and make changes was a very big hurdle for him. So when we talk about these changes, these additions, these updates, it's literally him. Like that's it. There may be a couple of other people that help him, but it's him. So it's not like they can just look at we're using Unreal. Or we switch from Unity to Unreal. It's a very long process with literally one person.
And he's having to make adjustments. I mean, they use different language for the coding. Unity uses C#. Unreal uses C++. So it's not like you can just say, okay, copy and paste all my code from one to the other. It's a bigger deal than that. I mean, he's having to rewrite everything. So it's something that he's working through, but I think he sees that there's enough benefit in switching to that engine that it's worth it for him. So we'll see. All right. So as far as time, okay, look, I think we're good on the notes. Is there anything you wanted to cover before we go into the last raffle?
Not that I remember. Nothing that's popping up off the top of my head.
Okay, so this last one, we'll do exclamation point giveaway again. This will be 30 points. And we are going to be giving away a copy of The Long Dark. And this copy is courtesy of Green Man Cartoons. Thank you very much. If you're interested in cartoons for different games you play, like ARK, Overwatch, some H1Z1s, ones that he had done in the past. Those are... he's got cartoons with all those different series. He's put out new cartoons, hopefully soon in the future. So if you want to go check out his YouTube channel, Green Man Cartoons, you can do a search for him. And I can put a link in the show notes as well if we need to do that.
And
but this is
if you pay attention, there is some cameos in a couple of those as well.
Nick gets killed in a lot of his videos.
Get killed in them. I get killed in literally all of them.
Yeah, I think in the last video, you didn't say anything, but you just got shot.
I got hit by a car. It was the PUBG video.
Oh, okay, yeah, hit by a car.
Yeah,
you might have been yelling something.
I yelled an obscenity and got hit by a vehicle. Yes.
Pretty much 90% of Nick's cameos on
All
this.
right. What are you, nuts?
Isn't that pretty much what it was?
Yeah, pretty much.
I just remember a lot of cursing. It was just Nick cursing a lot and then dying.
Is that inaccurate from how you actually know me?
No, that's pretty much how the game nights go.
Well, exactly. So it's me. You know, that's the thing. You're getting the real deal, folks. There's no facade here. What you see is what you get. You're getting the full experience. So there's no nobody pulling the strings behind the scenes here. You're getting exactly what you're paying for. So yes, copy Long Dark, which is the
Long Dark, survival, open world, atmospheric exploration, really good survival game. I think Deacon had actually mentioned to me that he had gotten it, and he had thanked me for the recommendation. He said it was as good as I had said. So if you're into that kind of a game, I really encourage you to get it because at least enter for this raffle because it's a fun single player, and who knows, they may add some sort of a co-op mode in the future. But right now it's a single player survival game.
Yes.
Very good. All right. So let's see. We don't have current players. Was there anything you wanted to discuss as far as numbers at all? Like
I can't pull any of them up. Literally,
okay.
the site that we use for numbers, because I can't access Google, will not load. They must use Google's API for something. So I do apologize for that.
Nope. You are fine. So one thing I wanted to mention, I had mentioned earlier about H1Z1s. Just kind of as a side thing here, but with H1Z1's numbers and the sale that happened recently, I had mentioned that their current players hasn't really gone up that much, and that was that there was a couple day spike where they had their player numbers jump up, but the funny thing is like it was still on sale for until now, but it had gone right back down again. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to be able to do. I'm trying to get it to pull up. It's lagging for me right now. Here we go. So their concurrent players. Let's, for instance, bring up 2 months ago. Back in October, they were seeing between 42,000 up to maybe 54,000 players.
Okay.
Right now they're getting between, well, I mean, it's going down, but let's say their last peak that they had was about 26,000.
This is King of the Kill. This is the H1Z1.
This is H1Z1. Yep. Okay. Down to about 20,000 on a concurrent day. And so the lowest that they've had so far was the 20,674, and that was on the 31st. So New Year's Day. Or New Year's Eve, I mean. And so that if you look at the graph, like it's consistently going down. It did jump up a little bit when they first announced that sale, but it's just, man, it's not quite enough. Their audience, so they have like players in the last 2 weeks. Right before the sale, it was sitting around 1 million to 990 whatever thousand. Right after the sale, it jumped up to about 1.4 million for 1 week, and then it went right exactly back down to right about 1 million. So that's players in a 2-week period logging on at least once. So it was up at, if we put it back again into October, they were sitting at about 1.5 million. It was constantly going down. Back in November 21st, it went down to 922,000. It went up a little bit and stayed about there until the sale. The sale jumped it up for, just like for a couple days, about a week. And then now it's right back down to the numbers it was prior to the sale. So those players they bought the game, they played a little bit, and then they stopped playing. So kind of strange.
Yeah, kind of strange. But I mean, it's not, I don't know about you, it's not shocking to me.
Well, I mean, it's not shocking, but I don't know how they're going to reverse.
No, I don't.
With these numbers, I don't know how they're going to reverse that.
No, then I think that's the problem. Throw air quotes around problem going forward. Is how do you I mean, you're driving the Titanic. The iceberg's right there. What can you do to reverse the course? Is there anything you can do to reverse the course? And I mean, at this point in time, I personally don't see one. Again, my opinion is subject to change if some new information comes out. But from what we know right now,
yeah, and PH is bringing up that might have been the free weekend, perhaps.
Yeah.
When did it go on sale?
Well, it went on sale but they did do a free weekend about 2 weeks ago.
So so that jump has to have been the free weekend.
Okay.
So the free weekend. So the sale itself hasn't changed the numbers at all.
I mean, probably not.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So the free weekend, it jumped up, but not a substantial amount. And then this sale of having it 25% of the normal price hasn't actually increased the numbers of people playing. So maybe it's made it so it's not ticking down so much.
Well, I think this is the problem, and this is what we're seeing. Anybody that wants H1Z1 already owns it. The game has literally been on sale 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I mean, again, every time you put it on sale, yes, you get new people that buy it. Yes, it's Christmas. New people are getting gaming computers. But 98% of the people that want H1Z1 have already purchased the game. So, where's the market? Who the hell, who's buying it? And that's not just H1Z1. That's ARK. That's all these other games. ARK has been out for 2 years. It used to be, during the Steam series, you used to be able to get it for like $12, $15. Like if you wanted ARK, you've already gotten it. You know, the market is expanding, of course, so we understand that, but it's not at this rate where when a game is out for that long and it's been on sale, it's been in the limelight, like H1Z1 and ARK and PUBG. PUBG's not a good example because they're just blowing all records off the door hinges. But everything else, when you're in the limelight for that long, and I mean, everybody knows about H1Z1. Anybody that has played the littlest hint of PC gaming knows about H1Z1. They've either seen it on Twitch or they know a friend that plays it or whatever. That's the case with H1Z1 and ARK and games like that. So what is the market? How much is that $4.99 sale helping them? Who the hell's still buying it? That's not just because, that's not even saying the game is good or bad. It's just, it's been out and in the market. Brian, we've done 155 weeks straight of a podcast that we've talked about it. Who doesn't know about this game?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that free weekend brought it up to the numbers from October.
There you go.
You know, I mean, so all it did was bring it up for a couple days to the numbers of October, which wasn't that long ago. I mean, it's a couple months ago.
Yeah.
It brought it up to those numbers, and then it instantly went back down to the lows of current. So,
I mean, I can't say I'm shocked.
Incredibly cheap. So yeah, I don't know what we'll see. I mean, it's kind of like you see a ship sinking, and what are you going to do about it? You can just sit there and watch it,
I guess,
and make comments about it.
Yeah. And again, here's the thing. They could do something right now, crazy behind the scenes, whatever, and flip it around. But from the weird change that they made with Just Survive, where they had a plan, and then just did a total 180, it just doesn't leave me much hope.
Yep.
So there it is.
So we'll see. All right. So next week, I don't think we've mentioned Game of the Week.
No, we have not.
So we're going to be doing CSGO. I don't know is CSGO on sale right now?
Believe it is.
Might be something good to check.
I will check that up while you are talking.
Yeah, so it's $10 right now.
Excellent.
So if you don't have CSGO, I encourage you to get it. It's $10 about right now. But we'll be doing that for this Friday night game night. And then, you know, people, if you can pull yourself away from ARK for 2 hours,
You're killing me, Saul.
The ARK server will still be there.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so we have all this other time, 6 more days of a week, and all the hours outside of that to be able to play ARK. And then we'll just play a couple hours of CSGO, which is a lot of fun when we play together.
It is. Every time we've played it, it just turns into a real disaster. That's why we played. It's just a lot of fun to play with our group.
PH comes in there and single-handedly kills everyone on our team.
He is just a monster at the game. I've actually played it. The last time we played it, I actually played it for a little while after. Oh yes, and the other thing, tabletop too. We're gonna try getting back into that. That is on. Maybe it's not. I know you have that, Brian.
It's $9.99 right now.
It's on sale right now?
Well, it's $9. I don't know. It's $9.99.
Okay, maybe it's not
whatever
on
that
sale.
is.
It is on sale. It's 50% off. Tabletop Simulator. Go buy it. Because we're going to start what we used to do, and we got to start this back up. We played a whole bunch of cool board games recently. We used to do every first Saturday of the month, which actually will be this Saturday, or maybe we did second. Nevertheless, we did like one Saturday a month. We'd schedule a board game to be played. And yes, you can play the game of life on it. You can literally play anything you want. I tried playing mini golf on it. It was not a good experience. So get Tabletop Simulator. We're gonna get that kicked back up. We've played a whole bunch of cool games recently.
There are thousands of games to pick from.
Sheriff of Nottingham we played. We really enjoyed that. We played some game called Career where it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, but somebody's looking for a profession. Brian listened to that, and you've got to make a story up based on your cards of how you'd best fit that profession. Monopoly, Uno, Sorry, the classics. It's a lot of fun, and it's $10. All the games are illegal. Be aware.
Yep.
There's my pitch.
Funemployed is what.
Funemployed, yes.
Yep, Funemployed.
Very good game. So get that if you got $10 in your Steam account. Buy that. You'll really enjoy it, and we're gonna get our tabletop group.
You'll certainly get your $10 out of it.
Literally one time playing it, you may get your money's worth out of it. It's so much freaking fun.
Yep. We have a blast playing Uno.
Oh my God, it's so raging, dude. I mean, it's the worst. You're cussing people out. You would never think Uno would be such a great game until Brian hits you with 3 plus 4s in a row because he's a jerk.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Yeah, it's fun. And so if you don't have that game, even if you're like, I don't know what I would play on it, if you just join us for the couple times we play, you'll get your $10 out of it.
Absolutely,
it is great. All right, so let's go ahead and we will go into tip of the week. Tip of the week is where I go through and I'll give either a general gaming tip or maybe about a specific game. Since we've been playing so much ARK lately, this one is an ARK related tip. So this is tip of the week. All right, so this week, with ARK, and if you're an aberration, I mentioned earlier in the podcast a creature called the Nameless, or it comes up as Nameless, and you'll find that this creature is attacking you when it's dark outside, and there's a way to prevent this. If you go and get what's called a bulldog, which is a little creature that has a little light on its head, kind of like those deep sea creatures, the lamp fish, I don't remember what they're called, but they'll have a little light ahead of them that glows. You can put this little pet on your shoulder and it will generate light. Now it does have sort of kind of like a regen time. It'll light for a certain capacity. And then there's a stat there for the amount of emission range that you can do. And that will, the emission range will just be the distance from you that it lights up. Saul brings up also the shine horn. There's a couple different creatures that you can get that have lights that they do. The bulldog is the bullpup is the quickest one that you get. They're very easy to tame. They're in more of the beginner area. And what you can do is go get some of the aquatic mushrooms. So just go up to any of the mushroom patches that you see. Maybe not the ones that are kind of a weird red color, because those will have you see psychedelic colors and possibly kill you. But if you go up to some of the regular looking mushrooms, pick those, you should probably get a nice stack of aquatic mushrooms. You put those in your 0 slot. So you'll have your quick bar along the bottom, put that in the 0 slot, which is the very end one. And then walk up behind one of these bulldogs or the bull pups, and you can feed them these mushrooms, and that will start to tame them. And then once you have one tamed, you need to hold down E, I think it is, over that pet, or maybe it's hold down F. I don't remember which one it is. But it'll bring up a menu that you can then say, when you're at full charge, turn on the light. And then you put it on your shoulder. As soon as it reaches full charge, it will light up, and it's like having a torch. One thing, as you level that pet up, you can go in and increase the stats. So maybe the regen rate for the charge, you can increase that so the downtime between is less. Increase the total charge capacity, so it holds that charge longer, and then also the range that it puts out light. You can increase that so you have a nice area around you that you can see. And so let's say you get a level 100 and whatever pet, you can eventually get them to about a 200 level, which should give you some really nice stats on that pet, and it should keep it lit almost all the time that it's night. So that's a really quick and easy way to get some light in there, and then you won't be running into, because if you run around with no light, eventually you will have one of the nameless come up and attack you, and there's a good chance they will probably kill you. Plus, it's just nice to have a light that you're not having to create torches for, or have to worry about other things trying to keep it not dark around you. So you can even put these in your bases to have a nice light source, and there'll be a light in your base that just keeps going. All you have to do is keep them fed. So that is tip of the week.
Alrighty, and thank you very much for that, Brian. I'm looking forward to jumping into that game now. Yeah,
it is a lot of fun. And make sure next week or this Friday we have CS:GO, and I would encourage you to purchase it, and I would encourage you to show up.
Yes.
Even if you're so tempted to go do some ARK, just the ARK will be there.
The point of Game of the Week, and we've said that we'll mention this every once in a while. The point of Game of the Week is not to play the game; it's to get the community together and get everybody in one group and just keep the group active and keep everybody doing their thing. That's kind of the goal with Game of the Week. So even if you pop in for 15 minutes and play
to build up the camaraderie and
that's all
get everybody together.
Believe me, CS:GO would not be my first choice of game to play. But last time we played it, everybody had a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. But it's not in terms of great games to play on a Friday night, it's not on my list at all. But for Game of the Week, it's a great game to play. So if you're around, definitely I'll do my best to be here. I know I've been AFK the past couple weeks as I was traveling, but I will we'll get everybody wrapped back into the program here in the new year as everybody settles back down for
well, and I have my surgery on the 11th, so this will be my game of the week that I can actually play. And then for a couple weeks after that, and then a couple weeks after that, I will only have one arm. So for a bit,
you're getting your arm removed. Oh, that's gonna be
not quite removed, but
yeah.
So I will have a limited amount that I can play in the weeks after this, and then I should be getting some use back in my arm.
Excellent.
And start being able to play again. So, but there will be a little bit period of time where I am not playing any games, just because it's hard to play a lot of these games with one arm.
There you go.
So, all right, are we ready to roll into this last giveaway?
Yes, sir. Got a lot of people enter for this one.
All right. So the winner is Firebomb.
Oh man!
Congratulations,
our good buddy Firebomb.
Yes, congratulations, Firebomb. And I will. Well, no, actually, I think we'll be giving away another copy of this next week.
Oh, excellent.
So if you didn't win this one this week, for our last one next week, we'll go through and we'll do a giveaway of this again, since there's a lot of interest in it. But this one this week was from Green Man Cartoons. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Green Man,
for the donation.
We appreciate it.
And I will send out those codes. I haven't sent them out yet, but right as soon as we finish up the show, I will send both of those codes plus the mystery code when we're done. So I think that's all I got. Is there anything else you want to discuss before we roll on out?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. So if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, or you can go check out my blog, biteoftech.com. And of course, if you're not on our Discord, we have a link on our website on the right-hand side, join servers, a green button right below the Discord list. You can click that and join our Discord at any time. Make sure when you get in there, you introduce yourself. Maybe say, hey, I listened to the show.
How'd you listen?
Nick will ask you, how did you find the show? and just become a part of the community, because as we said with our game of the week, a lot of it is about the community, hanging out, playing with it, because a lot of us have become friends because of the podcast. And so I would encourage you just to get in there and quit being a lurker.
To put this in perspective, I got to cut you off here, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead.
Our good friend Landgun, he literally went to PAX with us. I mean, he just flew up to Boston and went to PAX.
Yep. Stayed in a hotel room with us,
yeah.
Which I'm not saying it's a guarantee.
No, that is definitely not a guarantee. You join the Discord. That does not mean you stay in a hotel with Brian. That is, maybe Brian's into that. I mean, not with me. But yeah, I mean, because of the group, we went to PAX with, of course, our good friend Jake Zambrowski of the Chromie Show. We had a great time, and we'll probably be doing the same thing next year on our yacht out in Seattle.
Oh yeah. As soon as we get $20,000 worth of donations.
We don't need $20,000. It was only a couple $1,000s a night.
Oh, okay.
On, Airbnb.
So, all right. So yeah, if you want to become a part of the community, just join our Discord. It's the primary way throughout the week that we communicate. If you're playing a game, make sure you jump into a channel. Let people know you're playing that game. Most likely, there's a good chance you'll get somebody to join you. And also, we have our YouTube channel. So if you want to, follow us on there?
Subscribe.
Smash the subscribe button, right? And on there, that way you can go check out our live videos that we do, or videos of our live recordings. Also, we have Twitch channel, which we do our live show on. So if you're looking to catch us live, maybe you want to be one of the people that are making comments during the show, giving us input. You can do that every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern and join us. So I think that's a lot of self-promotion, but I think that's it. I don't know if I missed anything.
No, I mean, there you go. Just subscribe.
Yeah, smash it. Don't hit your monitor right now.
Smash it. All right. Yeah, that's our wonderful video production here. All right. Well, Brian, thank you very much. Happy New Year. Tell your wife Happy New Year as well. Hopefully everybody enjoyed a safe and Happy New Year. It was quite funny. I'll run to this quickly before we get out of here. In parts of New York, the cable system did a weekly emergency test at midnight. So literally as the ball was counting down, the cable systems went over to their weekly emergency test, which I guess somebody forgot to turn off. And I saw a lot of pissed off people on Twitter of them recording the countdown and it just switching over to this is Time Warner Cable and this is your weekly alert for, and then it cutting back in, the ball's already dropped, which I thought was quite funny. So
kind of anticlimactic.
Yes, very anticlimactic. So hopefully everybody had a safe and Happy New Year. And we will be back here next week. Of course, we're here live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Infection Podcast. You can tune in live, win some games, interact in the chat. And if you've got a different opinion, we'll absolutely reference your opinion, tell you why you're wrong, why we don't agree with you, or tell you why you're right. That's what we do here each and every week. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig for all my rants and ravings, mostly sports related. Check out our website, infectionpodcast.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. We'll see you next week for Infection. Have a great week, everybody.
Yep.